It's been a long time coming, but it's Pontiac 350 dyno time. Uncle Bob and the minions have been up here working while I haven't been, getting this thing all buttoned up and ready to rock and roll. And we're gonna do some dyno stuff today. This is not entirely sure how much we're gonna get done today, because we do have to heat cycle this thing, because this is a old school flat tap camshaft, so it's a little bit more of a pain in the neck to do than the modern stuff is. But for those of you who are not familiar, Pontiac 350 out of my 1971 Pontiac LeMans. This is the original motor to that car, and we wanted to keep it as original-ish as possible. So stock bore, stock set of original heads. It has had a whole new valve job gone through it, new hardened exhaust seats put in it. We did do a little tiny bit of cutting on the head and a little bit of cutting on the block. It does have a brand new set of Eagle rods in it, original crankshaft. We have put a new flat tappet camshaft in it. Not entirely sure exactly what those numbers are. I'll put them in here somewhere as well to be able to let you guys know what's going on with that. Old school front timing cover, original to this motor, including even some of the cracks. Brand new PRW water pump, and we are going to be running a dual plane Performer intake manifold. You'll also notice that is set up for a Quadrajet. So I need to go steal one. Fortunately, I have just a place that I can get myself a Quadrajet from. Bob, are you excited?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Once this is gone, you're halfway done with me.
Oh, I doubt if I ever get done with you.
I think that's probably true.
No.
What this means?
God help me!
As soon as I get this one done,
God help me!
that means you have an available space for me to bring another one.
Oh my God! I am not hearing that.
Bob loves it. He loves it. He's definitely willing or very excited to see these things go. But for those of you who are new here, welcome aboard. This is Automotive Adventures with Austin, a little personal corner of the YouTube internets. And we have some long-term Pontiac projects that we've been working on. The other one that you're going to see rapidly after this one is this guy. This is my Pontiac 350. Not to be confused with that Pontiac 350. But this is a 1968 block with 1969 62 casting heads. So larger valves, much more aggressive. I have done a little bit of porting on these things, so we should make quite a bit more power out of these heads. Also, this has got a roller camshaft set up in it. We've done all the bells and whistles on this one, and we want to see what the difference is, what the spend is, or is the juice worth the squeeze on the spend between this and that. Now, typically speaking, and if you're a Pontiac person, I know you're probably going to say this, Austin, why in the world would you spend all that money to be able to do this? And the answer is because I'm a little bit stupid. Most people in the Pontiac world, because a 350, a 400, and a 455, sit in the same holes, use the same engine mounts, use the same accessories. They're physically outside the same thing. Why wouldn't you just put a 400 or a 455 in the same hole? And that's a very excellent question, because it also costs the same amount of money to build a 350 as it does a 400 or a 455. So is it money well spent? No, probably not. Is it interesting? Possibly. It's going to be interesting, at least for me, to be able to see what the potential of this is and how good this motor really can be on a 350. Also, there's some opportunities for maybe some other upgrades in the near future for this little 350 that we won't talk about right now. We'll get to that later on. But that's not what we're talking about today. That's not what we're working on today. Today, we're going to be doing the flat tappet camshaft 350. This one, we are honestly, I have no idea what we're going to see. My goals, personally, I would be ecstatic to see something like 375 foot-pounds of torque and 350 horsepower. If it gets anywhere near that, life is good. I'm happy. I doubt we're going to get anywhere near that, but it's possible. We'll see. I'll show you guys the whole process. We are running, by the way, headers, like actual real in-car headers. These are the ones that actually came off my 1971 LeMans Sport that actually used to be bolted to this motor. And we're going to put those on this thing as well, so we're not going to be cheating and using a pair of dyno headers that have those long, crazy sweeps that wouldn't fit on any kind of car. So we're going to use an actual set of in-car headers, and we are going to run a old school Quadrajet on this thing as well, because that's the way this thing is going to run in the car. The only other option we would have would be doing an adapter plate spacer and running like a 4150 style carburetor. And that's not how I want this thing to run. I want it to run with the way it is. So we'll test it as close to in the car as we possibly can, obviously without all of the serpentine drive and stuff. Got our new fuel pump block off plate on here because we don't need a fuel pump, mechanical fuel pump. We do have to figure out how we're going to do the water on this, because the dyno has its own water supply, so there's no water pump spinning, and there's no thermostat in the housing. But normally we would want the housing coming out this way, so we can do that. We'll figure out a solution. An adjustable thermostat housing for one of these things is like $70, and I didn't really need to do that. So we'll get working on that. I need to get the headers put on this thing, get spark plugs in it, get the distributor in it. Once we make sure we've got oil pressure, which I believe we've already done before I got up here. Get Quadrajet figured out and fuel line, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll and make some American noises. This is a little bit of a process to do this. You want to fire this up and immediately go to different RPMs, and the flat tappet break-in process is something we'll talk about when we get to that point. But this is a much more involved and honestly a much more scary process than firing up most motors nowadays that are roller camshafts. Pontiac guys, good news, bad news. Good news is got the headers on. Bad news is I got to take the headers back off. Somebody bent the shit out of the flange on this thing by hitting a bridge transition a while back, and we can't get a extension on this. This is supposed to be able to run an exhaust extension to be able to go into his exhausts, so we got to be able to bolt up to that, and we can't because that one's on there. So I need to pull these headers back off and then beat the absolute crap out of them with a sledgehammer to try to knock that flange back flat. So undo that part. Who did that?
You should have bought lunch today, not me.
I was gonna buy lunch. You left too fast. I tipped the lady well, though. Would you like help? Bob Smash!
Why don't you set that phone down over there on that thing, and then you hold the other end of this.
Now, is this massaging? It's gotten a whole lot more flat. Probably a little more right there. That'll work. Good job. All right, we got our headers put on. Headers. These were on the car for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. And they've had a good long life. Now they're going to become Bob's dyno headers for Pontiac D-port heads. All right, moving on to the next step. Oil pressure off the drill. Plenty. All right, my next thing is I need to get fuel for this thing to run with.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna steal one of your gas cans.
Yeah.
Run to the.
Yeah.
He just finished running Bill's 327 in here, old man's garage. So this fuel cell is full of the 85, which we need to make sure we get out of there before we run this honking Pontiac hot rod motor.
This is racing gas. Can we do that?
Nope. Like it seems like 8.5 to 1 compression. Doesn't need race gas. The other complication is I need to go get this gasoline right now, because the way we're going to run this motor with a Quadrajet on it, I'm going to pull the Quadrajet off this. This is my 1970 Le Mans 455, old school Quadrajet, turbo 350. And this Quadrajet is a known quantity, does perfectly fine. Pilots this thing into like a 12.6 with 500 pounds of weight in the trunk. So probably more carb than what we need, but it's a good known quality Quadrajet. So I'm going to run up to the gas station, get gas in this thing, then come back, pull the Quadrajet off this, bolt it onto that motor that's on the dyno, run it on the dyno, break it in, take Quadrajet back off, put it back on this, and be able to drive home. Bet you've never seen that done at a dyno day. Neither have I, probably for good reason. This is a little bit stupid. All right, you want 87 or you want 93?
Wherever you want.
Let's go 87.
Oh, 92.
92, all right. Like a glove. Bob just likes making me spend more money. This is a 8.5 to 1 thereabouts motor, 8.6 to 1. So should run perfectly fine even on cast iron heads on 87 octane. Oh, hey, there's a cotter key. I don't know what that's from. I probably don't need that. But should run perfectly fine on 87 octane. We can get a little bit more aggressive on the timing with 93, 92, 91, whatever it is, whatever it takes. I love the way this car sounds. I love this car. Easily one of the most fun toys I own. It's going to be interesting to be able to see the power that 350 makes versus what I know that this 455 makes. This made, I believe, on this Quadrajet and the same intake manifold, 440 horsepower and 520 foot-pounds of torque. Car. Yeah, 440 horsepower and 520 foot-pounds of torque out of 461 cubic inches. It's 20 over 455. So it'll be interesting to see the comparison as far as how much horsepower it makes, how much torque it makes, where it makes it. Math stuff, science stuff. Hopefully you guys are interested in that. By the way, incredible day to be driving out here in the farmlands of Central Ohio. Absolutely gorgeous. 80 degrees and perfect. Not a cloud in the sky. A couple of chemtrails, but not a cloud in the sky. Hot rodder pose in full effect today. I asked this question in a short the other day. Does anybody who's a hot rodder really care how much they're paying for fuel? I mean, really? The answer is no, by the way. We're still gonna hot rod. Still gonna go out and play with our toys. Who cares? And before any of you give me any flack about this jug is not going anywhere. Okay. Let's get back to Bob's. Like sweet, sweet music. Right in there is our Quadrajet. Oh, wing nut. That's okay, just landed on the really hot. Ow. Radiator hose. All right, need to take a couple of nuts loose, a little bit of linkage, and the fuel supply up here in the front. Take that off and that'll work for today. These engines do hold heat for a very long time. Cast iron headed, cast iron block, so maintains heat quite a lot. These are 6X heads, pretty stock 6X heads. But yeah, this thing stays hot for hours. I'm gonna do this two-handed so I don't accidentally lose something and drop something important. Oh, I got a whole bunch of vacuum stuff to take off the back of this. Do-do-do-do. Hot, 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 hot. On Quadrajet. That'll work. Perfect. Pour some fuel all over everything there. Alright, so I picked up a Quadrajet gasket while I was up at Jerg's earlier today. So that'll go right there. Like so. Grab some studs for this guy. It's got the long, tall guys up here in the front and the two little short guys in the rear. We'll get that stuff bolted up. Just a couple of minutes later, we've got ourselves a electric water pump drive to go ahead and drive our beautiful brand new PRW water pump. I did pay for that, by the way. This is not a sponsored plug, but I do believe in their product and I've used it on a bunch of my vehicles. Got the Quadrajet up here. Did not even bother cleaning it up. Makes it run faster, more efficient. Got a couple more things we got to get done, then we've got to time this thing. And then we'll put plugs in it. And figure out how we want to do the fueling. Unlike all you Holly guys, where you have your fuel rail that comes up on the side, or this side, and you take your fuel in on Quadrajets, at least on the Pontiac world, you've got that front-mounted fuel port. So, got to figure that part out. Throttle linkage is built onto the dyno, so that's not a big deal. That's a universal jobby. You make some little adjustments with this doohickey. No big deal. I mean, we're practically ready to go. Got ourselves a solution engineered for our fuel system here. It's going to work perfect. Listen, good enough. Don't get it right, get it running.
Get it right.
This is Bob McVeigh's place. Make it perfect. We are getting close. Set ourselves in time.
Okay.
Put our brand new old school spark plugs. Didn't buy anything expensive or exciting.
No problem.
$40 pounds of pressure on the starter. I like it. Do 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 do. We're pretty much ready to try this thing.
Yeah, we'll try.
Well, the tricky part is it's
Turn
a
that thing a little bit.
bump it.
No, that's good. That's good. Turn that fuel pump on. You'll have to. That switch is kind of funny. Hold it on and wiggle it. Okay, shut it off.
Seven and a half, 7.2.
What'd it do?
7.2.
Try it again.
6. Ready? You ready to try it?
start.
Ignition's on. Don't remember if I mentioned this or not, but this does not have the exhaust bolt holes on the front or the rear. I think I did. So exhaust leaks are kind of notorious. A problem on this. Also, we wanted to make sure that everything was tight. So we went back through, pulled all the valve covers off, verify all of our torque on all of our rockers, and everything is good to go. We were both hearing something that was a little pissed. I think it's probably an exhaust leak, but better safe than sorry. So shut it down, do it again. Being a flat tappet, we do have to fire this thing up and immediately get after it and go to the rev range. You cannot let this thing idle when you're breaking in a flat tappet, or you will flatten a flat tappet, and then you will end up rebuilding that motor because you end up with the cam lobes eaten apart and in the oiling system, which will take out the bearings. And ask me how I know.
When we fire this up,
You want ignition, fuel?
yeah.
Fuel's up. Shop jump stuck on the header. Yep. What happens when you take it apart and the parts sit around for years. No leaks, no drips.
Just lots of exhaust leaks.
Just lots of exhaust. That good carburetor's doing just fine too, ain't it? For those of you who are curious why Bob is working his hand on top of the carburetor, non-choked carburetor. So he is mechanically being the choke himself. So we had a couple of small issues. There's some crap on the headers that were smoking this thing up. We had a couple of small little leak issues. Had one rocker that was a little bit loose. We did shave this thing a little bit, so we got to make sure all of our rockers are exactly where we want them. But it's alive. I'm excited. We've been debating on whether or not we want to stop this process and order a set of dyno headers or build a set of dyno headers for this. Because it's hard to tell whether or not there's anything else that we're hearing with the exhaust leak that we're hearing. Problem would be it's probably $500 or $600 for a set of dyno headers, and he'd only be using them for basically my junk. And these are D-port heads versus like a ram air style, and those use different types of headers. So most people that are building big bad Pontiac stuff, especially if they're building it with Bob, they're probably not doing it with a set of D-port cast iron heads. So does it make sense to go through that process to order a set and wait for and weld up a set of dyno headers to get rid of that? We don't know if we're hearing any kind of a tickety thing in the drive train, in the valve train, or anything else, it seems like it runs fine. It's just hard to say with the exhaust leak that's running there. We've got fuel pressure dialed up to where we should be. Our timing is pretty decent. I think we're running at like 21 degrees at the moment. We started at about 12 or 14 degrees, but we're gonna kind of run it constant at about 21 degrees. And we're gonna go through the break-in process. It's already 5:30 in the evening, so we've been at this basically all day to get this thing on here. So we're gonna do the break-in process. So essentially, you immediately fire this thing up. It's already up to 120 degrees. So we're gonna fire this thing up, take it to 2 grand, and then kind of oscillate the engine speed between 2 grand and 2,500 for 20 or 30 minutes, and then shut it down and let it slow roast itself. As long as that goes well, and you're typically gonna know if it goes well or not, we'll let it rest overnight and then come back tomorrow morning, fire it up, make sure everything is good, and then we'll pull on it at that point in time. But I think timing wise, because we're already 5:30, figure half an hour of run this thing in, it's gonna be 6 o'clock before we even get done with this. So that's probably our smart play. Don't want to rush it with the amount of time and energy and money we've both got involved in this. Don't do something stupid at this point in time. So, right? Don't do something stupid. We got too much time, energy, and money involved in this. As Rich likes to say, it'll go or it'll blow. It's nice when it's not your money.
How's it look?
Clean.
Plugs look good?
He's starting to color about that far back. The range, heat range looks good. Did you get you a front stripe, Bob?
Huh?
Did you get you a front stripe?
Okay.
Yeah, good.
This is part of the video where you cross your fingers for me. Why in the world would you buy the engine dyno? A low power, low compression motor. This is exactly why. If you're gonna find any kind of problems or things that you need to adjust, it's a hell of a lot easier to do it on an engine dyno than when this thing is sitting in between the frame rails and you're humping a fender and trying to deal with all of this stuff. Vastly more easy to fix things right here, right now, than it is if we did this with it in the car.
This one here,
So this is why you do it. It costs money. It does. Okay. I gotta, rent Bob for the entire day to be able to do this. But the idea here is once we're done here, everything will be good, and we just take it immediately, stick it in the car, turn the key, and rock and roll. We don't have to worry about figuring out what needs to be addressed at that point. It's very, very worth the spend to be able to do this, and I appreciate Bob being willing to do this kind of thing. He can could definitely be working on much more interesting, exciting, and more powerful motors than my junk. Throttle between 2,000 and 2,500 RPMs for the next 30 minutes or so. I will excuse you from watching that part. We'll skip to afterwards. But she plays a good tune. Let's walk outside. Let's see how she sounds outside. I'm excited, folks. I'm excited. Yes, I realize building a stupid Pontiac 350 is a dumb waste of time, energy, and money. That's okay. This way you can also hear if one of the cylinders is dropping out, you'll hear it pop, pop. Just purring like a kitten.
All right.
That's pretty good.
All right. It does sound real really good.
It got
we
a
had
lot
some
better.
issues we had to fight through, but that's
why you do
what
this.
it is.
That's why you do this. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Well, and there's always a combination of parts and specifications. And, you know, there's no cookie cutter answer to this unless you're building crate motors with the same thing over and over and over again. So, got through a 22-23 minute cycle on that, varying between 2,000 and 2,500 RPMs, a couple stab here and there. Sounds great. There is a little bit of a misfire, which I think is a plug wire.
Yeah, it just pops.
Yeah, you just kind of hear it drop out every now and then. I don't understand how it could possibly be a plug wire.
They had good road on them.
They had good road on them, and they were just fine when I pulled them off the car 5-ish years ago. 4-ish years ago. I mean, this one you can see like the shielding is most of the way gone. You know, I don't know how I could possibly need plug wires, so I'll probably pick up a set of plug wires in the morning. But now we can just let this thing sit and calm down and relax and do its things that it does, since now it's been heat cycled. So these are cast iron motors with cast iron heads. They will hold heat for 3 hours or so. It's a process. This is not a quick and easy kind of thing. But I think we're good. Probably tomorrow morning we resume this. Pull the valve covers back off. Make sure everything is good to go. Fire it back up. Get some heat in it.
Yeah, put some heat in it.
Get some more fuel, because this has basically burnt up 5 gallons of fuel doing this. I'll go pick up some more fuel and then we'll make some pulls on it. So we will be back at this tomorrow, because then you got another.
Yep, we got 3 engines to pull on Thursday and Friday from Kansas City.
Yeah, 3 engines to pull. So you did one yesterday.
Yep.
Sort of kind of mine today.
Well,
tomorrow.
I was trying to slide this one in.
Yeah.
And I didn't think we could get both of yours, but I didn't have all the parts for yours. Other one, so I figured we'd pick it up next Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah. Because we basically have everything we need for that other one now.
And I gotta have some time, so I may not even have any time till Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah. Wednesday, I don't think.
Yeah.
Whatever day. Oh, maybe not Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that I'll be busy in there Thursday and Friday.
Yeah. Right. So, there you go, guys. I would say break-in process success. We found a couple of things that we need to fix. I'll pick up a set of plug wires. No big deal. It is what it is. And the plugs all look pretty good. You could just hear it occasionally dropping one out, so not a problem. All of our issues are resolved. The exhaust leak issues are better.
Yeah.
For sure.
Good to hear.
But you know, that's a battle. We'll figure out another solution for it. This also, FYI, is not going to run headers. This motor is going to go back to manifolds. I used to run this with headers, with these exact headers, in my 71 LeMans Sport. That car is going backwards to original, so it's going to go back to a set of 1971 manifolds.
Which will help that.
Yes, very much so. Then you have gigantic iron pieces that will hold on to that. So that'll fix most of my exhaust issues. So anyways, guys, we'll wrap this one up here. Thanks, as always, to Mr. Bob. Thank you guys for watching this kind of stuff. This is Automotive Adventures with Austin, my little personal corner of the YouTube internet. I appreciate you being here. This is your first video. I do all kinds of cool stuff. I got a lot of cool friends, a lot of interesting projects. As I said, we have that other Pontiac 350 that's coming as well. So this one you'll see on another video here very shortly, where I'm going to film these two basically back to back tomorrow. I gotta get the carburetor pulled off that and put back on that car so I can go home. And Bob already wants to go home because it's 6:20 in the evening. So I'm gonna get that done and go home, go to Jegs in the morning, pick up some wires, get back here. We'll do this again. And then I gotta get the 73 Charger done. Yep, gotta get that work done. See you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.